Are you scared of this, Annie?
Yes.
Does it smell very garlicky?
Yes. I'm getting my smell back.
Oh, listen to that crunch. So you've bought an air fryer or you're considering getting one, but you're asking yourself, am I really gonna use it all that much? Well, today I'm gonna walk you through some essential tips for how to get the most use out of it. And I'll show you some quick and easy hacks and everyday uses that might just make this your go-to daily appliance, especially in those summer months when you don't wanna heat up the oven. Greetings and welcome to or welcome back to PB with Jay. Here on the channel, we focus on all things plant-based goodness. And today, I'm gonna walk you through what I like to call air fryer tips, hacks, and snacks, which will have you wondering what you ever did without the newest tool in your kitchen. Before we jump into all of those, I'd like to give a quick hello to some of you who said hello to us in the comments down below. Julie from Farnham, Quebec, Judy from Cleveland, Ohio, Vicky from St. Louis, Missouri, Tammy from Graham, North Carolina, Judy from Coconut Creek, Florida, Tammy from Bellingham, Washington, Mirage from Timmins, Ontario, Nicole from Ottawa, Kim from West Michigan, Nicole from Utah, Cleo from the Antelope Valley in California, Sharon and her family incurring Murderfloof the cat here in Eastern Tennessee. Why did you name your cat Murderfloof? I need explanations down below. I don't dislike the name, I just want to know the story. And Constance, who is living in Belgium. If you'd like a shout out here on the channel, consider joining us over in the Mighty Network for that perk, along with many others. But the most important of which is just a community of like-minded individuals. And you can join us over there for the price of a crappy cup of coffee a month. First up, let's just go through a couple quick tips so you can maximize this machine every single time you use it. First up is preheat for best results. A lot of people don't think you need to do this, and I mean, you don't have to, but it's not dissimilar to an oven. And it's just, if you get everything going, especially the base inside of it, cooking, things are just going to cook, I don't know, evenly, more efficient. I just think you should heat it up. And you don't have to do it for long, like 2 to 3 minutes. Essentially, as you start preparing all of your ingredients, just throw it on at the temperature that you're planning on using it at. Tip number 2 is do not overcrowd the basket. For crispy golden food, things need space, because if it's touching up against it, it's not gonna get to the edge of the, whatever it is, whatever it's the tofu or the vegetable or I guess those are the main things. Anyway, lots of things you can make crispy, but if you overcrowd the basket, those areas are just gonna keep softer, chewier, whatever the texture of that thing is. And don't forget to shake the basket from time to time. Now, depending on the air fryer you have, you might not need to shake it as much. I'll tell you more about the air fryer I'm using in a little bit, but this is definitely an advantage of it, along with the fact that it's got a very wide basket, so you can fit probably twice the amount you could fit into a normal air fryer. It's kind of the equivalent of taking something out of your oven and flipping it over. But the beautiful thing is just shaking it, it makes it just a lot easier. Now, the caveat to that is if you're doing things that are larger or things like, say like a tofu nugget, you might just want to straight up pull it out and flip it around. Tip number 3 is just to use a light coating of liquid. I know some of you's go-to for air frying and whatnot is just using oil, even from a spray can. I don't use that at all, and I still get wonderful crispy results, which you're gonna see a little bit later on in this video. What kind of liquids, you're asking? Honestly, aquafaba is my go-to, and I've done tons of videos on aquafaba here on the channel. I will link in the description down below in case you wanna figure out how to make your own. We also have a great tutorial guide in our cookbook. You can get it through the link on the screen right now in the ebook form. And we do still have a few physical copies left. If you want to email us with your full mailing address, I'll tell you how to get one. The other liquids I will use though are just straight up vegetable broth, or if you're doing something that's a bit more sweet, you could consider using a plant milk. And you could just use like a little tong and spread it all over, or you could drizzle it over and toss the item inside of it, your call. And the final quick tip is to batch cook. Just like you're prepping your vegetables for the week, do them in your air fryer. I have not met a vegetable that the air fryer didn't love to give a nice crisp to or a roast to. It is my go-to now if I'm just doing like a single vegetable or even multiple vegetables because we've got the space in ours. And it just doesn't heat up the house the way the oven does. And it also happens in a fraction of the time. So I've been talking about my specific air fryer a few times here. So let me just walk you through it while I also mention the sponsor for this video, Typhor Dome Air Fryer. This is the second version of their air fryer, and we were lucky enough to have gotten the first one, which I have passed on to a friend because they were very lovely and sent us this one. And when it first showed up, I was like, what is the difference? The difference is huge. It has got a double kind of cooking mechanism where it's got a burner on the bottom and a burner on the top. What does that mean? It means that it cooks things even more evenly and even a little bit quicker than the previous model. And what's even better about all of that is I mean, the size is already perfect to cook a pizza in, which I have done. But what it does is it makes that pizza bottom really nice and browned, just the way you would expect if you were cooking it in a pizza stone in your oven. Imagine that. Imagine being able to make fresh pizza in the summer months and you don't have to heat up your entire house. And it's equally good for everything else we use. And it doesn't require me to flip things around. I can kind of just put something in there and forget about it because I don't have to worry about shaking it when I'm running around the kitchen getting the rest of the meal ready. And just that wide basket is a game changer. That was the one thing that stopped me from using our old air fryer the most because I just knew that I'd have to babysit it and shake it a lot, or that I'd have to do it in multiple batches. That alone is the reason why I wanted to get one of these in our kitchen. And Typhor loves our audience so much that they want to give you a 10% off using this code right here. And you can also access all of that using the description down below. I've got all the information in there as well. All of these tips and tricks and things that I'm talking about in this video can be done with pretty much any air fryer. But if you want the Cadillac of air fryers, consider getting yourself a Typhor Dome air fryer, Model 2. So I covered the tips and hacks. Let's talk about the snacks. I don't know about you, but I really love to lightly toast my nuts and my seeds, particularly if I'm putting them on my breakfast for oatmeal, but also just for putting on salads and whatnot. And I used to burn the heck out of them by either trying to do them in the oven or putting them in a frying pan, and then I'd be running around the kitchen and forgetting about them and doing other things. What I love about doing them in the air fryer is I can just put them on the toast setting for, 4 to 5 minutes at around, what do I do, Matt? Like 300 degrees Fahrenheit, 325, and just put them in for 4 to 5 minutes, leave them, and then check them. And then depending on your air fryer, do them for another minute or two, depending on the size. If you're doing seeds, you need a lot less time. If you're doing nuts, like a walnut, you might need a little more time. Anyway, that is something that I do probably multiple times a week. Do you ever have one of those recipes that calls for breadcrumbs or croutons and you're just like, I'm not that person who just has that on hand? You can make them so quickly, especially if your bread is getting a little bit stale. Just cut it up into those little cubes. You could put them in the air fryer on their own, but I would recommend just kind of like lightly tossing them in like a tablespoon or two of aquafaba. Season them if you want to in any way you do, but they're gonna be fine on their own. Put them in for like 5 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And when they're done, just give them a few minutes to keep kind of cooking over and crunch up. And they're perfect in that little square shape. But if you want breadcrumbs, you can either take those and then put them into like a magic bullet and blitz them up, or just crumble them with your hands. Something I just recently started doing that has become a hit in our house is making bagel chips. So one thing I've always wanted to try in the air fryer is making like bagel bites. And so I just took 2 pretty sizable cloves of garlic with a little handful of parsley and about 6 tablespoons of aquafaba. And then I just took 1 whole wheat bagel, cut it in half so that it was safer to cut, and then cut it as thin as you can. I found cutting it into 4 like slices was about as much as I was gonna get away with. And then I air fried it at 300 degrees for like 10 minutes. And depending on the air fryer you're using, you might need to go a little bit longer, but just check it every now and then. Toss it in between. Are you scared of this, Annie?
Yes.
Does it smell very garlicky?
Yes. I'm getting my smell back.
Oh, listen to that crunch.
Cheers.
You like it?
Can't really taste it.
Oh, Annie's sick, so it's really good.
Oh,
It's
tornado.
yeah, we got a storm heading here. It's pretty garlicky, so you can reduce the garlic as you want. But like that was so fast. Like including the cooking time, that was maybe 15 minutes, and you could easily put 2 bagels or more in this pan. There's so many ways that you could use this kind of formula to make your own different flavors of Bagel Bites. This isn't necessarily a snack. I should have put this back in the tips. But for those of you that are used to just heating up your lunch in the microwave, heat it up in the air fryer. You know, there's so many meals that you get, like, you know, from pizza to tofu nuggets and whatnot. And when you heat them up in the microwave, they just get soggy. French fries in particular. I used to be the kind of person that if I made French fries the night before, I was like, there's no point in keeping the leftovers because they're never gonna be the same in the microwave. That's the beauty of being able to heat up your lunch in the air fryer. And most air fryers even have a reheat function. If you're the kind of person who likes tortilla chips, but you don't like the fact that they are made with ridiculous amounts of excess oil, great. Make your own little corn chips from just corn flour and water, or get an oil-free corn tortilla from the store or a flour tortilla and just cut it up into triangles or whatever shape you want. And again, put a little bit of aquafaba on if you want, but they'll be just fine on their own. Put them in the air fryer around like 375 for 4 to 5 minutes, and then you have got homemade fresh tortilla chips. Stop thinking about an air fryer just for, you know, meaty things or vegetables, and even the beans and legumes, which I know we're going to talk about. Use them with fruit. I love to slice up an apple and sprinkle it in cinnamon and just throw it in there for a few minutes and just let it kind of soften up. Or it's the kind of thing that I'll do like apple rings, and then I'll put that on top of my cereal, or it's great on top of ice cream or anything, or just eating it on its own is really, really amazing. And the other fruit I like to do it with is bananas. So for the bananas, it's gonna be super simple. I'm gonna air fry them at 375. So I got that preheating, and then I'm just gonna cut up the bananas. I'm just gonna split them in half and then cut them into smaller chunks. And then I'm just gonna make a really simple cinnamon sugar, just using like a half a teaspoon of both coconut sugar and cinnamon. Mix that together and then just lightly put it over top of the banana. We're gonna put it in the air fryer, and then I just toast it in this one for 5 minutes flat, and that's it. I think for other air fryers where you don't have the kind of 360 degrees cooking, you might need to flip it and cook it a little bit on the other side as well. 5 minutes is all I needed. And I decided to make it like a little banana split by adding a little bit of non-dairy yogurt and some granola on top. Now let's quickly whip up some kale chips. This is literally the kind of thing you can make in less than 10 minutes. Just take out your kale, give it a quick wash if you haven't washed it already, and then just rip it into little chunks. I like to just give it a quick hit with just a little bit of aquafaba instead of using oil. And then if you want to just put a little bit of sea salt on, that's fine. I've got this awesome Trader Joe's dill pickle seasoning that one of you lovely people sent me. You know who you are. Toss that around, and I put it in at 375 for like 4 to 5-ish minutes. Again, depending on your air fry, you got to keep an eye because it's going to go from not quite cooked to very cooked very quickly. As you can see, it's just starting to go right now. Another 30 seconds, and this would be charred. Ooh, I went heavy on that seasoning. And it's such a fast snack. And especially if you have kale that's starting to turn a little bit, this is the perfect way to use it up. Instead of potato chips, come on. Change your seasonings up, put a little bit of garlic powder on there. Some cayenne pepper, you want a little spicy hit. If you wanted to make like a salt and vinegar, instead of using like aquafaba, you could splash it with some apple cider vinegar, some balsamic vinegar. Just keep an eye on it because it'll crisp up fast. Cheers. I like to take chickpeas in particular and cook them in the air fryer because they're great using the way you would like croutons in a Caesar salad. And we've done that in our cookbook for our Caesar salad recipe. We use chickpeas to give it a little bit more protein and whatnot, a little more oomph to the meal. So I recommend that for sure. But it's also just great for snacking. And again, because chickpeas already have a little bit of moisture on them, they'll just cling up any kind of spices you put on them. And you can go sweet or savory. Chickpeas are really, really neutral. And so if you want to put some cinnamon or cocoa on them, they're going to taste delicious. And you can even add a little bit of maple syrup and caramelize them. But what I like to do is put on some, spices. Like for example, I'm going to make Mexican tonight. So I'm probably going to make like a little taco spice, and I'm going to drizzle it all in them and shake it up, put them in the air fryer and cook them for like, maybe 10 to 12 minutes at around 300 degrees Fahrenheit. And then I'm just gonna add them to my tacos to do something a little bit different. Switch it up. This is something new that I actually just tried making for the first time, and that's avocado fries. So for these avocado fries, I'm still playing with this recipe. But what I decided to do today was try to just toss them in a little bit of aquafaba instead of like an egg yolk. And then just a really simple mixture of gluten-free breadcrumbs, a little bit of sea salt, and some nutritional yeast. But what I found that as I tried to bread them is that the aquafaba wasn't really doing much. And because the avocado is kind of soft already, I just kind of smashed it into it. And then I air fried it at 350 for like 5 minutes. And then I flipped them around, although I don't think I need to flip them on this air fryer. And then did it for like another 2 or 3 minutes. They look all right. I just think I can do a better breading consistency. Probably with smaller panko and whatnot, but. Oh. The warm avocado, it's creamy. This is a dangerous recipe because avocado, although very healthy for us, good for us, it's very high in fat. So like the 4 slices I have here is about a serving. I can make that better, but that's still really good. Trick to these though, I think, is you got to eat them while they're still warm. Otherwise, I don't know. I just think they wouldn't be as good. Let's not crunch. That's my happy face. And then last but not least, vegetables. And this is great whether you're making a bowl and you want to add this to that, or you just want to have them as like a light snack in the afternoon. Especially if you're doing something like broccoli or cauliflower, because what's great is when you toss them in aquafaba, their little tree parts at the top catch all of that liquid, and it makes it soak up any seasonings or whatnot you put inside of it. I would cook that at 375 for 8 to 10 minutes, depending on your air fryer, but I like to get it pretty crispy. If you're looking for some more recipes to take your air fryer for a spin, consider checking out the previous video we did on that, where I walk you through some of my absolutely favorite air fryer recipes, most of which are in the cookbook that I mentioned earlier. I did a shout out earlier and asked you for some suggestions for air fryer meals, so I haven't gotten to that yet, but I've got a whole bunch of suggestions here from a bunch of you that I'm going to attempt. Vi asked me to make waffles. I've got Gary Lizzet, who says they want me to make brownies in it. Mary Ellen has asked for a pasta dish. Kohlrabi fries from Danette Cathcart. There's a whole bunch of suggestions you got here. So if you want to see me just experiment more with the air fryer, let me know in the comments down below. And that's a video that I will start thinking about for the future on the channel here. And if you're interested in getting the air fryer that we've been using throughout this entire video, use our description and the link down below to get 10% off that Typhor Dome Air Fryer 2. I promise you, you will not regret it. It is a beast of a machine in the best possible way. And it's pretty. It looks really nice on your countertop. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button to let YouTube know to share this with other people. Obviously, subscribe if you haven't done so yet to get more videos like this. Speaking of which, YouTube has this one all queued up for you for your viewing and food inquiry purposes. So, show them some love and click on it. And really, by clicking on it, you're showing us some love.